Today, your life can effectively end with only an accusation from someone you have never met. Social media gives people's words a reach never seen before. Much of social media is dominated by left-leaning voices. This, on its face, is fine. However, it tends to create an echo chamber, and in a day of growing radicalization in a group prone to mob violence, willing to rail against any with the wrong opinion, painting in their words the label of hate speech. America's left is abandoning its working class roots in favor of identity politics as a linchpin for further political success. Many Americans underestimate how possible it is for laws to be placed to criminalize any speech deemed as hate speech. We can see examples of this in Kamala Harris's resolution to outlaw the phrase Wuhan virus and all government mandates surrounding COVID. An example that we can see more daily are people being banned for holding the wrong opinion on social media. Identity politics demands liberation, public celebration, and self-respect from so-called oppressors for perceived marginalized oppressed peoples. The oppressor label is painted upon anyone, even mildly conservative, particularly white, as a whole. Hate speech is often described as speech that harms the so-called marginalized person. As for hate speech regulation, it is one-sided by design, restricting speech for the oppressor and allowing the marginalized to speak freely. This thinking is not only tolerated but encouraged when directed to oppressors. If liberation comes from verbal attacks and calls to action, then it is justified. The fear that many hold is criminalization of word and thought, like has passed in Canada or England. Traditional values are also on the chopping block, such as Christianity, heterosexuality, and the population that has brought prosperity to their own nation. You may ask, what benefit comes from taking the role of the oppressed? That would be social power. If you believe you're oppressed, then it can be presented as reality, even if lacking factual evidence. Even if facts are brought forward, such as disputes in education of affirmative action hires, this is painted as hate speech, as it paints the oppressed in a perceived negative light. The end product of such action would lead to the oppressor group's cultural identity being changed. Remove negative views of the oppressed from larger society and outlaw any further negative views from being platformed. Since the deified oppressed group cannot be proven as liars and degenerates, they must be correct. An example is the topic of immigration, legal or otherwise. This topic is taboo, as it harms the self-respect of migrants. This changes the discussion so that only the increase of immigration can be discussed. As acceptable topics are choked down, even policy discussions like welfare and social programs are off limits, as they can be viewed as racially charged. This is, in my opinion, I hope this has sparked some discussion, and if you would like, comment down below and I will do my best to respond. Thank you.